Solutions discussion on workplace culture. This is such an interesting topic and one that has many, many different opinions surrounding it, because whether we've been in one profession or another, we all have different experiences of workplace culture, which has built upon our overall experience of our work in general. Cast your mind back to a time where you were part of a workplace culture where you felt maybe that you didn't belong, or conversely, that you felt you were really well aligned with all of those people around you. So today we're going to talk about workplace culture and how it manifests, how it's created, and how it's also sustained in the context of a few specific areas. These being the shared mission, vision, and values of an organization, behavioral expectations of an organization's story, and the internal and external relationships which are created and maintained by this workplace culture, and finally the processes and procedures which further reinforce and uphold this particular workplace culture. Okay, so let's jump into this discussion about workplace culture. A workplace culture's MVP, which stands for mission, vision, and values. Now, the relationship between these two concepts is quite interesting. The mission, vision, and values ultimately aims to underlie the particular workplace culture. However, missions, visions, and values in some workplaces, as we are aware, are an ideal rather than a reality. The workplace culture is the reality. The mission, vision, and values is sometimes purely aspirational. Now, why would it be that the effort and the time and the consensus of all involved to create a mission, vision, and values is not implemented in a workplace? Well, this comes down to many different factors, including social dynamics, psychological relationships between different people in the workplaces. It can even come down to very practical thoughts and realities for a particular business. Maybe a business is spaced over multiple sites, multiple locations. So in order to keep a homogeneous and well-oiled team working together, it requires a mastery, for example, of digital technology. Now, if a business does not have a mastery of digital technology and the leaders within that business don't support this, how then can the workplace culture be supported? So consider this when you think about the organizations whom you are a leader within or you are working within yourself. What is the mission, vision, and values? Is there a mission, vision, and values? And how does it play out to co-create a workplace culture? Next, we're going to talk about behavioral expectations. Now, I'm sure that everyone can draw to mind an experience that they had when there were clear a lack of boundaries with behavioral expectations as it pertains to workplace culture. Think about an instance where maybe someone who was a direct line manager or someone senior within a business contravened, contradicted, and completely diverged from the standards of workplace culture that had previously been created and put in place. What impact did this have? How did people respond? How did you respond? How did you feel when you observed this happening? So, in order to maintain a workplace culture, clarity is a core ingredient. Also, people's willingness to uphold and maintain a specific set of values and a specific way in which these values are manifested in behavior. And also what underlies this is a sense of trust and also courage in being able to share and express when you feel that your colleagues may have fallen off the train tracks and actually stopped to displaying this particular workplace culture behavior. Having this sort of conversation grows trust and also understanding between colleagues. However, it needs to be with an environment whereby it's said constructively rather than judgmentally. Next, on to an organization's story. So what narrative is an organization saying about itself when going and pitching to clients, when speaking socially at different events, when going to business conferences? How do people express and explain what goes on with a particular organization? What story do they tell? Do they run a chronological story? It was established in this year with this many people and for this purpose? Or is the discussion more around the way in which a business interacts with its clients, a business interacts internally? Take note of this in terms of the way in which stories are told and what this could be underlying, what attitudes this demonstrates that people have towards a particular organization. Next, we're talking about internal and external business relationships. Okay, so an organizational culture is not necessarily contained to a particular organization. There can be and there are many opportunities for people to interact outside of their organization with other organizations. Now, this is when it gets interesting. When you have multiple organizational cultures crossing over and attempting to become integrated with one another, especially when these workplace cultures differ significantly on their values. Has this been an experience you have had? And if so, what happened? Was the outcome one that was pleasant for all involved, and there were optimal business outcomes as well? Or was it particularly uncomfortable and not necessarily dealt with in a very constructive manner? I'd be curious to hear in your comments below. So mitigating this gap or this bridge, if it's necessary, between one workplace and another, or multiple workplaces that may be interacting with one another, is a really important skill to have, and very important to use your effective listening and communication skills in order to be able to navigate your way and your team's way through this particular situation. Finally, processes and procedures. What does this say about a workplace culture? For example, imagine in a workplace there are unnecessary degrees of cross-checking, fact-checking, doing repetitive tasks, completing tasks which could be automated. What does this say about this particular workplace culture? Is this a workplace culture that you would consider to be innovative, to be communicating clearly between all team members, to be one in which creativity is encouraged and welcomed and is flourishing? Or would you consider this to be a workplace in which people are happy to repeat patterns of behavior that may actually not be serving the highest purpose for this particular organization, and most certainly is not operating in the most efficient and effective way? Processes and procedures underlie every business, and of course they look different for all businesses, even though there may be some commonalities across all businesses, across all industries. So with my personal professional experience across multiple industries, which include retail, recruitment, educational resources, and many others, I have noticed that processes and procedures are basically the enactment of a workplace culture, of mission, vision, and values, if these are or are not in place. I'm really looking forward to hearing your comments on this, as I know it's a topic that gains a lot of interest amongst many people, because we really truly do have quite an emotional connection to our workplace culture. Why? Because we spend so much of our time in it, and we feel a sense of ownership over it. We are the co-creators of our workplace culture. So please do comment below with any particular questions you may have, instances that you certainly reflected on whilst we were having this conversation, and I look forward to many more conversations with you. If you'd like to listen to more valuable business insights, please do like this particular video, share it, and also you can follow and subscribe on other channels which Clarified Solutions has. These include our YouTube channel, Clarified Solutions, Instagram channel, which is Clarified Solutions Services, and also Facebook page, Clarified Solutions. I look forward to many more discussions with you in the coming weeks, months, and years, and have a wonderful day. Enjoy. Bye.